Welcome to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest, Jerry Knowlton, who is the Director of Public Relations for Hospice of Southern West Virginia, joins us today. Thanks so much for coming to the forum.
Yes, good morning. So exciting to be here again and have a great conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're a regular forum watcher, Jerry Knowlton has been here before, but last time we were talking about the Friends of Charity Auto Fair, but this time we're talking about Hospice of Southern West Virginia and their upcoming Angel Tree and all the wonderful things that they do.
That is for sure. And so lots going on. We just came off of 4 memorial services, 1 in each county. Something that we do annually is give that opportunity for people to come out once a year for a memorial service and, you know, remember their loved one who may have passed in the previous year. Wonderful opportunity for us as Hospice One to be able to provide that to the community, but also, you know, it's an opportunity for us to reconnect with families who meant so much to us as well.
Absolutely. And I know that it can get difficult. I mean, working in hospice of itself, it's, you know, a difficult thing to deal with death, but I believe that you all, you make such a caring and comforting experience, no matter what you all are doing, whether it's at the actual facility or the events that you all have. It seems to be just more so peaceful and a great place to be able to grieve freely.
Absolutely. I think that, you know, the service that Hospice provides to Southern West Virginia in our 4 counties, Raleigh, Fayette, Wyoming, and Summers, is so important because it's a time when families are at their most vulnerable, when patients are dealing with a terminal illness, and when families are just trying their best to honor their loved ones and care for them in the best way possible. And so along comes an organization like Hospice of Southern West Virginia who is so committed to making sure that we're providing that compassionate care and that we're meeting people's needs, that we're meeting their physical needs, their spiritual needs, and their emotional needs. And it's for the patient, of course, but also for their families as well. And so one thing that we feel so strongly about is the importance of being able to connect with these families sooner than later. And so with that comes, you know, an opportunity for us to really have important conversations that the patient needs to have, and also their loved ones when it comes to terminal illness.
Absolutely. It's good information to have.
Yeah. So lots of times people think that, you know, because we've had to call hospice that death is imminent. And that is not always the case. And in fact, statistically, it is not the case. And what we find is that with terminal illness comes a lot of, you know, treatment, curative treatment, treatments that are very hard on our bodies, very difficult, and can be very taxing, not only on the patient, but on the families as well. And sometimes it reaches a point where curative treatment is no longer benefiting the patient, or right, sometimes the patient says, I really just don't want to do this anymore. And so the sooner that hospice can become a part of that conversation, we can change the plan of care from being, you know, aggressive treatment to being, what can we do to provide quality of life in someone's final days? And what does that look like? What comfort measures can we bring to them? And again, it's about, you know, addressing those physical, spiritual, and emotional needs that they may have at that time. But another reason why I feel so strongly about that hospice is called sooner than later is that there may be things unfinished with families, right? With the patients and their families. And sometimes those are, you know, courageous conversations that need to be had. And other times it may be just a very strong desire to help our patients and their families do things that are important to them in their last days of life. And that can be anything from, you know, graduations to weddings to birthdays that they fear their loved one may miss because of the terminal illness. And you know, those things are important in that whole process of end of life and grieving. And so for hospice and our very dedicated staff of not only our, you know, medical providers and our nurses and our CNAs, but our volunteers and our chaplains who also surround these families with so much love, it gives us an opportunity to make sure those needs are met.
Absolutely. And, you know, thank you to you all for, you know, all the hard work that you do and everybody at Hospice of Southern West Virginia, because it is really important work. And I know it's not always the easiest, but it's really important. And I know that it means a lot to these families. It
does. And the thing that we find often, I get that, you know, often people associate end of life and Bowers Hospice House, right? That is end of life when you're at Bowers Hospice House, unless you're there for respite. But oftentimes when hospice comes into the picture, what ends up happening is that when we move to comfort care measures, it actually extends their quality of life and they get more time because they're not so aggressively trying to treat the illness or the disease. So statistically, as I said a second ago, it does prove out that it can extend life and give more time to families in those situations of terminal illness.
It's a great thing to know, and I really hope, you know, everybody in the audience and everybody at home is listening to that as well, because you may be experiencing a family member who may be dealing with terminal illness and they may need to go on to hospice or Bowers, and they may feel like you just said, like they may feel like, oh, well, this is really scary, but
yes,
it may not.
Is scary,
it
right?
is scary, but it may not be what you think it is,
exactly.
And it may actually make them better.
I think the hardest thing to hear, and having been through this in the last year myself, the hardest thing having to hear is that you need to call hospice. Mm-hmm. And so that can feel very scary in the moment. But, you know, what also is incredibly important is that we associate Hospice of Southern West Virginia with meeting you in your home, right? So all of our patients are in home-based care, and many of our patients, as is their wishes, will pass in their home because that's important to them and their family. But where you call home also makes the difference as well. So if you're in an assisted living facility or if you are in long-term care, you can still receive services from Hospice of Southern West Virginia in those facilities. And I think that's important for people to understand, that we meet you where you are at, where you call home.
Absolutely, it's good to know as well. And today we have a little ornament here. We have a little a prop, and it's about the Angel Tree program that you all have going on. So can you educate the people about that a little bit?
Sure. So it is our annual Angel Tree, and so you'll see our angel that gets hung on trees. You can do this in honor of your loved one, and it's a mere donation to Hospice of Southern West Virginia. You can go to our website, hospiceofsouthernwv.org, and you can order this and have your loved one's name placed on this angel. And then you can come to the angel ceremony at Crossroads Mall on November 21st, if I have my name. Yep, November 21st at 1 o'clock, and we will be doing that angel tree ceremony there, and you can hang your loved one's angel on the tree at that time. It's such a wonderful, I mean, meaningful, right? It's a meaningful opportunity to be able to express your continued dedication and love towards your loved one. And we find that is so important in our community. Not only is there the Angel Tree available at Crossroads Mall, but we also have them across our service area. So you can go to Big 4 down in Summers County and place an angel there. Here in Fayette County, you can go to New River Health Mall, and there will be an angel tree there. Here in Beckley, we also have at the Raleigh General Hospital, at the Marquis Cinema, and at Calasino's pizzeria, there will be angel trees in those locations as well. And then in Wyoming County, you can go to Ole Jose and to Charlie's Pharmacy and place your angel there as well. So you can get those at those locations, or you can call Hospice of Southern West Virginia at 255-6404, or go to our website and have it ordered and placed there as well. So that brings us, I think, to the ornament.
Oh, the big ornament, yeah.
Right, so we have this wonderful, ornament that we do, again, in honor and in memory of loved ones who have passed. The ornament is $20. Unless you want it mailed to you, then there's an additional $5 put on for that. But we do this ornament every year. The butterfly is always a different color, so if you've had different loved ones pass over the year, that can be a memento on your tree as well.
That's beautiful, and both of them, the angel and the the little ornament with the butterfly on it. I mean, they're both beautiful, beautiful ornaments, and it's for a beautiful cause as well. You know, you're helping out hospice, but you're also paying tribute to your loved one. And is this free to everyone, regardless of whether your loved one was in hospice or not?
That is true. You can take advantage of either of these situations, whether or not you have used hospice services or not. And so these donations that are made, these really do allow us to make sure that we are meeting the wishes of people in end of life. And when we talk about those graduations, birthdays, those holidays maybe that people want to celebrate before their loved one passed, we really do try to meet those needs any way that we can while the time that families have left.
Wonderful. That's really wonderful. So you guys, one more time, can you plug the contact information so people know where to get these beautiful ornaments?
Sure. So you can get your angel through our website, hospiceofsouthernwv.org. It is for a simple donation, and we can have that go onto the tree at Crossroads Mall for the ceremony. And then you could take it to your community after that, and you can also pick them up after the holiday season from the Wickham building, which is just above Bowers Hospice House when that is done. And so simple donation for that, and then you can come and be a part of that ceremony or have it placed in one of the other county locations that are nearest to you. And then also, if you want to order the Christmas bulb, you can do that through our website or through calling us as well. So again, the website, hospiceofsouthernwv.org, and our phone number, 304-255-6404.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And thank you guys. You stay tuned. We will be right back after the break talking more about hospice and everything that they have going on for the holidays. And welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Director of Public Relations, Jerry Knowlton, for Hospice of Southern West Virginia, and we're talking about their Angel Tree program and some of the other services that they have available to everyone in the community. So you also have, since the holidays is coming up, we have the Angel Tree program, but for some people that are grieving, the holidays can be really difficult.
Absolutely.
And I see that you have some services to help out with that as well.
We do. We have some educational opportunities, if you will, coping strategies for getting through the holidays. So coping with grief during the holidays, we know that this can be extremely difficult. And the thing about it is, it's guaranteed that you're going to feel differently, that you may feel moments of sadness, you may feel moments of deep grief and pain, you may feel moments of joy and laughter, and all of that could happen in a 2-minute time span or across the days. And so I think understanding how to ride that wave of emotion, which can feel so incredibly involuntary and overwhelming, is important. And so our bereavement specialists have put together this program, Coping with Grief During the Holidays, and there are 3 opportunities that you can catch this. So you can get this on November 12th or December 5th at 5:30 in the evening. It's about a 2-hour session that you can come to, and it just helps you with understanding grief and then coping skills that you can use to help get through that. We also have an afternoon session available on November 19th at 1:30 in the afternoon if a more afternoon setting would be better for you. But 3 opportunities to really just come out and sit with our bereavement specialist and have them, listen and walk you through. But mostly I think it's an opportunity to understand and normalize your own grief as being your own. And I think one of the most freeing things for myself was just understanding that it was okay for me to grieve my way. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's in my family, that it's okay for me to grieve my way, and that I'm okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Absolutely.
During the holidays. And especially, if Thanksgiving and Christmas is the first big holiday since your loved one has passed, it can feel very overwhelming.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one of my favorite quotes about grief is, "What is grief but love persevering?"
Yes.
And it's like you still love that person. And I think I even seen the celebrity, maybe Andrew Garfield, lost his mom, and he's like, I want to hold on to that grief because it's all the love that I never got to give to them. So I think grief can be a beautiful thing sometimes. It doesn't always feel beautiful, but it's still the love that you have left over for that person. And it's just teaching you how to deal with that.
Yes, indeed. And I like to equate grief the same way we do in meeting the needs of our patients when they're facing terminal illness, right? That it's physical, emotional, and spiritual. And what I've come to understand myself is that is very true. And in the days of my dad's passing last year, in the months of my dad's passing, I just kept saying, I can't catch my breath. And it really feels like you've been socked in the solar plexus or something, I just can't catch my breath. I can't breathe. And then I felt also physically ill and emotionally ill. Most surprising to me was just that I could be fine one minute and the next minute find myself in tears. And it's like, what is, you think you're losing your mind. But an abundance of love brings with it having to figure out, who am I now without these important people in my life? How do I carry on without their tremendous day-to-day influence? And so I think that's the takeaways when I myself participated in these grief sessions, was just understanding that, all of this is just normal part of grief. But it's often things that nobody wants to talk about. It's just, and we think society just expects us to, you've got 3 days of bereavement and then back to normal. And there's nothing practical or real about that. So I think the more we can talk about these things and share about them openly and normalize it is going to be helpful for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see that you all also have some bereavement services as well that are free and available to people in the community, whether or not their loved one was in hospice or not. And that also, helps with the grief process as well. So what does that entail?
Absolutely. So I think, we do these ongoing support groups, and you can come monthly to, Bowers Hospice House for a monthly grief session, which is, just so beneficial in managing your grief across not just the 3 days after someone passes. And then, you know, we also do community memorial services. And I mentioned at the top of the show that we have just come off of doing those in each of our 4 counties. And it's a very meaningful time for us at Hospice. And also, we become very close to the families and their loved ones as well in the process of caring for them. And so it is needed by us as much as it is needed by the family members and loved ones who are left behind. And so we can come together in that unified way, and we can remember, we can say those names out loud and honor them and remember them one more time. And then, you know, the next act is Angel Tree, and, you know, being able to come to the Angel Tree service on November 21st. And again, it's just one more expression. And I think you find in the days, months, and years following someone's passing that these expressions of memory, these expressions of hope, of seeing them again, these expressions of love and loss are just all part of that journey of, you know, their departure, and then, if you so believe, that reunification as well. And they're important and meaningful.
Absolutely. And I think it's a way to, because sometimes when someone passes, you can feel guilt sometimes for being happy during the holidays and things like that.
Of course.
And you don't have to feel that way, but, you know, like grief, everybody grieves differently, everyone feels differently, but I feel that this is a wonderful way to really honor that loved one and still think of them and feel that they're still a part of your holiday and still a part of your life, because they always will be. The people you love, you take them with you, whether they're here or not. But I feel that this is just a beautiful way to memorialize them as well.
Absolutely. And I think our bereavement specialists do such a wonderful job in that coping with grief during the holiday of talking through with you, what will the holidays look like? What do you want them to look like? And how do you want to manage this? And really just putting you back into the control seat that, you know, it is going to be different, and to go about it as if things haven't changed, that's not beneficial to anybody. But being able to, again, honor and remember and embrace the tears and embrace the laughter, it comes together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said you've been to these grief sessions as well, and it's helped you.
Absolutely. I think it just, for me, the biggest takeaway was that I get to choose my grief journey. It's not up to someone else to decide what that looks like. And so if today I'm not feeling it, it's okay to not be feeling it and to be feeling that tremendous loss. There are days when I go for a drive by the house my dad used to live in because I just need that moment to say, hey, Pop, I'm missing you. And that's just between me and him and maybe the neighbors that see me go by. You know what I mean? And it's okay. And it's important to me, like, when those moments occur. So I think that is what I took away from being able to sit in those sessions, is that it is what I make it, and it's okay.
That's wonderful. And I really like that you said journey, because, I mean, it definitely is a journey. And that feeling of, you know, that you can control the journey. You may not be able to control your emotions, but you can control, like, how you grieve and your journey and what makes you feel better. I think that that's really comforting in and of itself to know that. So, like, if anyone out there is dealing with grief, or, you know, you're struggling with something, please get in touch with Hospice, because I think that that will be a really helpful thing, especially, you know, with the holidays coming up. There's pretty big holidays as well. So
yes, and you know, they are so good at what they do, and I can't say that enough. They are so good at what they do, and just in making you feel comfortable in a time when you are feeling so incredibly vulnerable. So you can reach out to our bereavement team if you want to know more about monthly sessions that take place, or the 3 sessions that are available beginning next week on the 12th. You know, call 304-255-6404 and, you know, ask to speak to a bereavement specialist, and they'll be happy to, you know, guide you through what you need to know and when you can join us.
Awesome. That's great information to have. And we are a couple minutes out of the show, but before we go, we would love to know, since Community Forum, how can the community help out Hospice of Southern West Virginia and, you know, continue to do all the great work that you all do?
Such an excellent question. I love when you ask this. And, you know, I think that one way that this community can give back to Hospice of Southern West Virginia is by becoming a volunteer. And we have an army of amazing volunteers who show up on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, depending on what their availability is. And they do everything from, you know, greeting people that come to Bowers House, to stuffing envelopes, to tying ribbons on angels, to making sure that the name tags are on the angels. They help with mailings that we do. We have volunteers that just take care of the flowers. That's something that they enjoy doing. So there's so many ways that a volunteer can be involved at Hospice of Southern West Virginia, up to and including even being bedside with someone who doesn't have a loved one. And so we are blessed to have volunteers who are committed to making sure that no one ends life alone, and that there is someone there with them.
Absolutely.
And a special calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you all are interested in any of the volunteer opportunities or the Angel Tree, or, you know, any of the things that Hospice of Southern West Virginia does, please get in touch with them. Thanks so much for joining us for Forum this week, Jerry. And thank you all for joining us as well. And be sure to tune in next week for the next Community Forum, where we talk to more local leaders and success stories about important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. Have a happy Sunday.